Hello, my name is Rebekah. I am the Innovation Lab intern, as Danny said, for the Neighborhood Services Department. These past several weeks, I worked towards promoting the Innovation Lab, as well as recruiting and mentoring team volunteers. Before I begin, I'd like to give a bit of a background on what the Innovation Lab is. The Innovation Lab goes under many names. Area 52 is one of them, as well as the Discovery Lab. But a more common name you might hear is the Makerspace. So what is a makerspace? Well, makerspaces are a growing phenomenon around the globe in which schools, universities, and libraries are now creating spaces that promote the STEAM fields and innovative and creative thinking. Our makerspace in particular promotes the STEM fields, as I said before, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. This can be seen throughout our 4 quadrants of our room. The 4 quadrants are the coding and hardware section, audio and visual, arts and crafts, as well as the robotics and circuitry. Each of these 4 quadrants have resources that are free for teens to use, and they include things like 3D printing, laser engraving, sewing machines, and much more. Now, in order to promote the lab, we decided we first needed volunteers, and for us, we wanted at least 4 volunteers for the 4 quadrants of our room, but we exceeded that goal by getting a total of 8 volunteers, 2 of which split their time between the Innovation Lab as well as the bilingual volunteer program. I also wanted to reach out to organizations to recruit those teen volunteers, as well as to let them know that we have a makerspace at the Central Library that they can use for teens. I wanted to contact at least 3 organizations, but I was able to connect with a total of 10. I also created 4 promotional flyers and 4 informational videos in collaboration with the bilingual volunteer program. And more recently, we hosted an event at the Makerspace called the Making Good Maker Fair. We invited teens to come in and get familiar with the machinery we have in the room, as well as create various items for charities like 3D printed hands and cards for hospitalized kids. Now, as I said before, I had to contact several organizations. These are the 10 that I was not only able to email or call, but I also heard back from, and we exchanged information such as the promotional flyers you'll see soon. As you can see, it's a good mix between local organizations such as schools, churches, and nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County. In order to reach out to those organizations as well as to recruit teen volunteers, I had to create a new user design. So the point of this was to make the space more cohesive and a design, like a brand identity for people to attach the Innovation Lab at the Central Library to this new design. It just makes it easier for people to recognize. As you can see, it uses the same consistent font, color scheme, and layout. I don't have a few, sorry. And this can also be seen in our other flyers. On the left is a standard flyer you'll see around the Central Library, as well as the other library branches in the county. And the flyer in the middle is an events calendar that's posted right outside the Makerspace, and it lets people know what events we have that month. This has been extremely helpful because I have received emails from people saying that asking to RSVP for the certain special events we have, and that's definitely upped the attendance of some of our programs. The flyer on the right is the flyer created most recently. It was for the Making Good Maker Fair, and that was passed out right before our events. And those flyers also, again, use the same layout, color scheme, and font for the brand identity. In conclusion, I had an amazing summer. I learned a lot from this internship, but I have a few recommendations for any other interns or staff members that might be placed in this makerspace. The first would be to expand our open lab hours. Currently, the makerspace is only open from the hours of 3 p.m. to whenever the library closes that day. The only issue with that is that we have all the hours in the morning and afternoon in which it's not being used, and we have many adults and teens who want to come in to use the space but aren't able to because there isn't a full-time staff member. The opposite side of that is that we could open up the lab hours for teens in the fall, but because school's starting again, not many teens would use it, so we could utilize the space for adults while the teens are in school and have adult programming. We're actually starting to do that in the fall. We have a staff member at the library who wants to host adult tech classes in the makerspace, so we could utilize the resources we have. And lastly, I would like to reach out to schools and organizations again, now that the school year is starting, just because we updated some of our programming and materials we have in the lab. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I learned a lot, so thank you.